So hi everybody and welcome to today's Reshape review with Reshape Method graduate, Cindy G. Cindy, so awesome to have you here with us today and happy birthday.
Oh, thank you so much.
So thank you for coming to chat to us today and on your birthday as well. And tell us, how are you feeling today? You can reveal or choose not to reveal your age compared to how you were feeling like a year ago, for example, or 6 months ago.
I feel great. I've got so much energy. I feel strong. I'm 55 today, and I just feel really, really good. And my body feels good. No aches, no pains. Yeah,
Amazing.
it's great.
Amazing. So you said when we were having our chat to see if the Reshape Method was right for you, that the main thing that was worrying you and that kind of caught your attention, and maybe you can tell us a little bit about that story and how you were doing yoga with somebody who was in the program, and she mentioned a posture coach, and I remember you saying something like you didn't even know that was a thing. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about that and about what had been worrying you with your posture and what you had tried to help with it.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, I've always had bad posture. It's just always been, and I've always known, and there wasn't
How
really
would
much.
you define bad posture?
Very rounded shoulders and not standing up straight. My neck was very forward, kind of very slouched. And I've always been like that. And there wasn't much I could do about it. At least I didn't think there was anything I could do about it. I did try like a couple of gadgety things. There was something that I bought that was this app that you wear this sort of necklace. You put it behind your neck, and then it calibrates you when you're standing up straight. And then when you're not in that position, it vibrated. But, again, it's like, okay, stand up straight. But then it's like, okay, well, how do you do that? What do you do? So, the old advice that people give is, put your shoulders back and, and kind of straighten your spine. And then, I felt so stiff, and it was just, I was so sore after. I felt like I couldn't move. It was really awful.
Yeah. And were they even helping? Was it even making a difference using those devices?
No, not at all. No, nothing. It was just making it worse. It was actually silly. And then I have a friend who I do yoga with, and she was telling me about your group. And I joined your group, and then I heard you talking about your program about like a posture coach, and I'm like, posture coach? Oh my God, posture coach! I've never heard of that. Like, what is that? I need it. Like, where has this person been? Like, this is exactly what I need. And it's like I didn't even know there was such a thing. And I initially went into the program just hoping that I would get better posture, but it's amazing because what I got out of the program was so much more than that, like a whole lifestyle change that I didn't expect. Like, I would have been happy if I was standing a little straighter, because that's what I was expecting. Mm-hmm. And what I got was just a whole other array of amazing changes.
Fantastic. So, right, your posture has definitely improved, right? We looked at
Yes.
with your markups, with your before and after photos at the end of the program, and the change in your posture has been incredible. So I'm so pleased that we were able to, give you what you were looking for in terms of the main thing. But maybe you can tell us a little bit about all the extra things that you have gotten in the program that you weren't even expecting.
Oh yes, lots of extras. Okay, so I was always a walker. So this whole thing of changing my walk to the posterior driven walk has been huge for me, like a real game changer, because now when I walk, like, I'm getting so much more out of it. So changing my walk is huge because I'm a big walker. Anyways, that's something that I was doing, but optimizing it has just been huge.
And what kind of benefits do you feel you've gotten from optimizing it? And tell us a little bit about your back pain as well. You said that you had some lower back pain.
Yes.
When did you get that back pain?
Yeah, I had a lower back pain, not when I was walking, but if I'd be standing for any periods of time, just even, doing work in the like cooking in the kitchen, or just if I was going grocery shopping, somewhere where I'd be sort of a tiny bit walking and then stopping and starting and standing, and I'd get a lot of lower back pain. Sometimes after a long walk, all of a sudden I'd get this lower back pain. And once I started doing the program, it's like, oh, no more lower back pain, like totally gone, like just completely gone. And then like a huge surprise that I didn't realize till after I did the program was that I've always had wrist issues, like just very weak wrists. And I've had some, very sore, like even doing downward dog and yoga, I would be like, oh God, I can't hold it anymore. I have no more wrist issues. I had tennis elbow. So every time I played tennis or I went kayaking, I was wearing a brace. And so during the program, because I was doing it in the winter, I didn't play tennis or kayak. And then now that I've started doing those activities again, I'm like, oh my God, I don't need the brace. Like, where's my tennis elbow? Like, it's gone, just gone, right? So it's just like so good. And then the next thing that was huge for me was my breathing. Like, I didn't think that breathing had anything to do with posture or body shape, but I mean, it's huge, right? Like I was not breathing correctly, and now I'm really like focusing and rib breathing most of the time, and working on getting the back ribs breathing, which is, I know, optimal breathing. And I did, again, like I'm thinking, well, what does that have to do with having a posture coach? So it was like, oh, another bonus. And then turning on my core was another big thing, because I was doing Pilates, and I'm not sure what effect it was having, because they would always say, oh, make sure your core is tightened. And I'd be like, okay, I think it is. I don't know. I don't know how to tighten my core. Like, am I doing, and like, doing exercises like the bird dog, for example. I'm like, oh yeah, I can do the bird dog, but it's like, well, if you're not holding your core, then, there's no point. Right. And so I realized that, like just being able to use my core. And now when I'm walking, I feel it, like I feel it's tightening, and I feel I've got some muscle tone, which is huge, another huge thing. And my neck is loosened up, and I couldn't really sway my hips or my pelvis, like everything was just so tight. And now when I walk, it's moving, like I feel it, that I feel like a sway, like a spring in my step, as I'm walking. So that's totally loosened up. And my feet are amazing too now. Like, I mean, I had a little bit of pronating in with my feet, and I couldn't like spread my toes. Like every time in yoga, they say spread your toes. I'm like, but my toes don't spread, they don't move. And now they do. And my feet are amazing, that even from the before and after tracing of my feet, like I can see the shapes changed. And I've switched to the minimal shoe, which has been a real game changer for me. And so I enjoy, like, I love to walk. I feel like I've got this spring as I'm walking,
Right. That juiciness that I talk about, right? That juiciness that I said was going to come in. That's what like keeps us young, is when you have the spring in your step, when your body can move. Because some people may be thinking like, so, the hips, the pelvis, right? These are all things that we go into the feet, but it's like, we don't, and tell me your experience of this. Like, did you even know how stuck you were? Could you even realize that you could feel so like what you're feeling now?
No clue. I had no clue. Like I was walking and enjoying it, but now it's like when I walk, like I need to move. And when I walk, it's like I don't want to stop. Like I just want to keep going, because it's like so springy and fun, and it feels so good, and my body's like, moving so well. So yeah, I had no idea. And when I first tried to do the first exercise that you have, like is the pelvic listing, I was just like, how is she doing that? What is that? Like, I could not do it. And then all of a sudden it was like this huge aha, because it's like, oh my God. Oh, right. And it was, what was so amazing too, was that after like a week of doing it, my hips all were loose. Like they've been probably tight my whole life. And the body is so forgiving. Like after just a week of doing it, I don't know, maybe twice a day, like not spending a whole lot of time on it. And it's like, oh my God, I can do it now. Like that's also been amazing, right? How the body really wants to accept these changes.
It is so amazing. And thank you for saying that. I love the way you put it. And now, so you've always been a big exerciser. You're like quite a seasoned exerciser. So what was your experience of the way that I teach exercise in the program? Was it something completely new to you? And how has that kind of changed your whole outlook of movement?
Yeah, it was different. Like some of it was the same, because I was doing yoga and I was doing some Pilates. So there's some elements of that. But I was also doing some cardio workouts at my gym before COVID. And they were just torturous for me. Like, I just dreaded it. I did not like it. I knew I'd be sore the next day. And so I started doing your workouts, and I'm like, oh, this is fun. This is, it's, I mean, it's work. It's definitely work, but you don't get sweaty. And at the end, you feel so relaxing. Like, I've always loved to stretch. And that was something new for me. The amount of stretching that's in your program is just so amazing, because it's just like, it's just my body, like, I'm very, very tight by nature. And so my body just needs it and craves it. And so the stretching and the workouts are a combination of stretching and then strengthening. So between the two, it's just like something that I really enjoy, and it's not taxing on my body. And then afterwards, I always feel very relaxed and I feel very strong.
Tell us a little bit more about that strength, right? And in things like exercises and moves that you would do in Pilates and that you would do in yoga, that maybe you've been doing for years and you thought that you were doing them right. and then you do them the way I tell you to do them. And then it was like, oh, okay. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, like, things were huge. Like, I'm just like, because, I see, you're doing moves, the dead bug and the cat and cow. And it's like, oh yeah, I know those, I can do that. And then when I started, when I had one of our private sessions, I was doing cat and cow, and you're like, you're not really doing that right. And I'm like, I'm not, like, and it was so eye-opening, because, like, it looked okay. Like, I guess because, like, no one had ever called me out on it. Like, it looked like I was maybe doing the moves, but I was like, oh, that's how it's supposed to feel like, right? Or like dead bug, I'm like, oh yeah, I can do that. That's easy, right? Or I can put my hands over my head. That's easy. But then, as soon as you pointed out, oh, but your shoulders are going up, it's like, oh yeah, okay. Like, I know, and so now I'm so conscious of all these things. And it's been really, really eye-opening and really helpful for me, because, like, if you're going to spend the time doing something, you need to be doing it right. And that's why, like, the coaching calls were invaluable, because any questions I would have, or can you watch me do this, was huge. And and then you could correct it on the spot. And then from then on, I know, okay, yes, I was doing it right. Or when other people ask questions, I'm like, oh, that's a really good question, because yeah, you know what? I'm not doing that right either. Like, right. And so doing less, which is like your 30-minute workouts, is huge, because if you're doing it correctly in proper form, then you're getting so much out of it than if I just had gone to a Pilates class that I'm just going through the motions and my core wasn't turned on, and I'm only getting maybe 50% out of it, whereas I'm getting 100% in half an hour. And I'm just feeling great, like, just very, very strong. And a lot of the things that at the beginning I was a little bit struggling with, some of the wrist things, and now it's no problem, like no problem at all to do them. So I can tell that I'm strong. And even like in the third phase of the workouts, you start to add some of the weights and the resistance. I felt like it was good because there was a good buildup beforehand. And so that when I got to phase 3, I felt like I was ready for it, because you had done everything that you had done before. Like, everything I felt was very well timed and sort of synced, so that, when I got to that point, I was ready to do the bands and some of the weight work. And yeah, so I think that's been great too. Because, like, just, if I would have started with that, I think I would have had issues, because, everything was going in my neck and my traps. And so, taking the time to strengthen my back and other parts of my body, I think was really important before starting into the weights and the bands.
You make a really, really good point there, right? And that, yeah, we're supposed to be strength training as like older women, as midlife women. And what you were talking about, all these different things that I'm pointing out in the private sessions and in the workouts and in the coaching, it's about movement cheats. right? We don't
Yeah.
even know that we have these movement cheats. We just are what we are, right? And so like having those movement cheats pointed out to you so that you can get all this bang for your exercise back, and so that you can then move on to strength training without getting injured. Like that's really what the program is about, right?
Yeah, it's huge. And I know right away, like if I ever feel anything in my neck, I'm like, okay, just stop for a minute, reposition, right? And all the things that you showed me what to do, has been just a real game changer, because by doing something right, like something simple as the push-ups, things like that I was doing but not correctly, has been huge.
Yeah.
And then, like you always say, less is more. Like you don't have to do like 30 push-ups. Like you say, if you do 10 properly, then that's all you need to do.
Right. For sure. Yeah. That's amazing, because nobody's got any time to waste on exercise that's getting you nowhere, right?
Yes.
Fantastic. I love that. I love that. And now also we saw on your before and after in the forms that you fill in that your heart rate, your resting heart rate went down significantly, which also indicates that you got fitter, right? And you were already fit to start with. So tell us a little bit about that, and about also, you said your t-shirts are fitting better.
Yes, like I feel like in my because of my core, because it's activating more, that there's definitely a muscle tone to my stomach that there was not before. I can feel it. Like I can feel that there's muscle there. And that's just from doing the workouts and going, having the private session with you on the core and the breathing, and then following up with that. It's just, made all the difference.
Fantastic. That is great. So great. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about, so these are all like the physical changes that have happened in your body, which is amazing. Can you tell us a bit about now, like how you're feeling emotionally after having gone through the program?
Yeah. I feel much more confident about my body. I feel that I really want to, like I don't have to push myself to do these things, like to go out and walk. Like I can't wait in the morning. I can't wait. Like I gotta walk. Like I got to start moving, right? And doing the workouts. It's like, oh, I need to do my workout. The releases also. I love doing the releases at night. So relaxing, and it's also made a huge difference just in not being tight. And I go for regular massages, and my massage therapist noticed right away. She's like, oh my God. She goes, you're not nearly as tight as you. She goes, what have you been doing? Right. So she noticed right away. She's like, wow. Like she was like, so yeah, I just feel really good, and I don't have to push myself to do anything, because everything that I do, I want to do it, and I'm enjoying it. And I feel that there's a lot of tension that's been released, like with the psoas release. Like it's just made a big difference. So I just feel good all around, and very energetic and very happy.
Amazing. And how do you feel that's kind of like set you up, for like the rest of your aging process? Do you feel that you now know things that you didn't know before, and that you've got a better handle on it?
Absolutely. So I feel like, that I don't feel this need that, oh, I have to go to the gym, right? Like now I can just do my walking, which I love anyways. But I'm doing it with the minimal shoes and with the optimal walking now, that I'm really getting a great workout.
Yeah.
And it's all enjoyment. Like I love it. So it's really been like a win-win. Like it's been life-changing. And I'll be doing the workouts all the time. Like if I miss a day, I'm just like, oh, I got to do the workout, right? Like I want to, right? Like I really.
And you finished the program, right? You finished the program, and you still want to do the workouts. And that's why I give you lifetime access to the dashboard, because you are going to want to keep doing the workout.
Oh, it's been amazing. Like, I love them, right? I'm just like, oh yeah, I forgot about this workout. I really like this one. And so I'm just getting all familiar with them all. But, you're only doing each one like twice a month, because there's 15 of them. So There's a great variety, and I've got, all my equipment, my little area I set up for myself with all my equipment, and I got my special little basket to keep all my things in. And it's just been so amazing. And I'm not like, even the amount of chair sitting, I've really, like, I'm sitting in a chair now, but very rare, because most of the time I'm sitting on my bolster. And I was funny because I went to a friend's house, and she was like, "Oh, I'll bring over a chair for you," because all the couches were being used up. I'm like, "No, it's okay. I'm going to sit on a pillow." And she was like, "Oh, no, really? I can bring over a chair." And I'm like, "No, I'm happy. I want to sit on the floor. I want to sit on this pillow." Right. And I brought out my beanbag chair from downstairs. So I got my beanbag chair and my bolster, and I've got one of these stools that kind of rocks. It doesn't have a back on it. So I sit on that sometimes. So that's been really good too. Like, I just feel like I'm not so static anymore,
And that's what keeps you young and moving and aging audaciously, right? Is to be able to do these things and to keep doing them.
Yeah. And because I want to do the workouts and the releases, I've been spending less time watching TV. I watch very little TV now. And because I'm busy doing other things, right? And then I've been reading also like some of the books that you've put me on to. And it's just been a whole sort of different outlook on things. And there's like much more things to do than just sit and watch TV.
So you're saying that you're feeling kind of more focused and driven.
Yes, because I feel like all these changes have been so positive, and I just want to continue with it. So I have I'll watch the odd time TV, but most of the time not, because I'm just like, you know what, I'd rather go do one of your workouts than put the TV on, right?
Yeah, fantastic. So maybe you can tell us a little bit, were there any reservations that you had going into the program?
Yes, because like at the beginning, like I said, I thought it was strictly going to be okay. I just maybe Tracy will help me with my posture. I'll be able to stand a bit straighter. And then I thought it was very expensive, like for the price. And I was like, I don't know. I mean, I really want to do it. And I mean, had I known what I was going to get out of it and that it was going to be life-changing, it'd be like, oh my God, like, of course, this is a no-brainer. Of course I would do it. Like, I would have paid way more, right? Because this is a life-changing thing. But at the time, I didn't know. And I know there's probably some people that probably do maybe more research before entering into the program. I really didn't do a whole lot of research, but I just had this posture coach was just like, oh, I need this. So I just took a leap of faith and did it. And I'm just, it's really changed my life. So I'm so glad I did it. And of course, so much more I got out of it that I had no idea at all.
Yeah. Fantastic. Oh, I'm so pleased to hear that. And you asked the best questions. The community loved it when you came on. Because maybe you can tell people a little bit about the Reshape Method community and the other ladies who are going through the program and the kind of support and camaraderie that we have.
Yes, it's a whole network, and it's so nice. Like, everyone's really supportive. So there's the twice weekly groups, which were for me super important, because at those groups you hear about other people, and it's interesting because some people were on later weeks and some people were on earlier weeks. So people were in different stages of the program. So it was really interesting to hear, what somebody was dealing with in a month's time. It's like, oh, okay, I have look forward to this, because they would mention something and I'd be like, oh, what's that? And like, oh, just wait, it's coming. And I'd be like, oh, okay, something exciting. And then I could also be there for the people that were starting to encourage them and say, oh, just be patient, it'll come. And, but the questions, like any questions I had, anytime I was doing any of the exercises, I would just kind of mark it down and say, I'm not sure if I'm doing this right, or I'm not feeling this in the right spot. I better ask Tracy. So I would just submit my questions before the meeting. And then it was so amazing because Tracy would explain it and then she would demo it herself and then watch me do it. And then usually from a question would come another question from somebody else. And it would just kind of feed off of one person's query, which we would get into a whole other, it would go a whole other direction, but it was also relevant. And it was amazing how sometimes some of those conversations would go and everybody would would chime in and be so supportive and, give their ideas and then offer their advice or their questions. And it was so amazing because you didn't know where it was going. And then all of a sudden, like for example, I asked you about the twist that one time. I had a question
Yes.
about what part should be twisting, and the next thing you know, you're busy drawing with the marker, on your rib cage, and it was just like, oh, this is so good, this is so helpful, right? But like we just didn't know where it was going to go, but it's so amazing, and it's amazing to hear other people's stories and other people saying also that that they didn't experience pain, and like you just feel so good, you feel so happy for them, and knowing that these people like that you're changing their lives as well. And it was so amazing to have this community that everyone supports each other and helps and cheers each other on, and it was really fabulous.
Just love every single member of the Reshape Method. Is just an absolute gift for me to come into my life, and for me to help them, and for us to all help each other. Because on the one hand, there's the posture, there's so much that we're dealing with, and then a lot of people come into the program, right, not necessarily expecting that they will have their pain change. They're coming to it for other reasons, because we almost just normalize pain at this age, right? We think that, oh dear, it's just something that we have to live with.
Yeah. You just think it is what it is. Like I was always thinking, I have weak wrists, so I have to wear a brace every time I play tennis or go kayaking, and that's just how it is, and who knew, right? Who knew that these changes would happen, and really in a relatively short amount of time. And I know, like the whole wrist, it's all those hand exercises that you did, right? And at first I'm thinking like the first time when I was doing your workouts, and I'm like, hand exercises, this is different, right? Like that I had never done anywhere. And all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, but it's made such a difference on my wrists, right? And then even like the foot exercises too. Like I was telling a friend of mine, because she's got some problems with her feet, and I'm like, oh, you could try this, the top of the foot stretch. And she goes, wow. And she's a seasoned exercise. She goes, that's amazing. She goes, like, just all these things that they're little, like, when you first see it, it's like, oh, well, that's kind of random. And then you realize, oh my God, this is what's changing. These are the game changers that change everything, right?
Yeah, they're so small. They're like almost innocuous. You almost can't believe that they could be doing anything so big, right?
Yeah. And now like the hand exercise, because it gets harder and harder because you're putting more weight on your hands. Like, when the one where you lift your thumb first, and then you lift
the palm raises. Yeah, the
palm raises. And now for me, like, it's huge, because like I feel it so much, but that's exactly where the tennis elbow is here. And that's what cured it, like just doing those palm raises. And it's like, not like I'm doing, I'm doing what, 10 of them, maybe twice a week. Like when I'm doing the workouts, it's like, wow, like that was enough. It's enough to change things.
Yeah, because we're changing everything, right? The problem is that the kind of system that we come through is very reductionistic. If you got back pain, then we need to treat the back pain. If you got foot pain, we need to treat the foot pain. And what's different about the program is that we're dealing with your whole body, because it's all these small things that are contributing to the pain that are spread out throughout the whole body, right?
Yeah.
So, amazing.
I had tried other things, even for my tennis elbow, I'd gone to physio. And I got a little bit better, but then it just came back because I wasn't going anywhere to physio, and massages, it helps, but then it just comes back. But this time it has not come back, right? Because I keep doing those exercises, and I feel like
your whole life, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, but so maybe let's just spend a minute talking about that, because maybe some people who are watching are like, oh my goodness, you're asking me to change my whole life. I don't want to do that.
I didn't change my whole life. The program just changed how I felt. So I didn't have to do anything. Like I was already a walker. So I'm just continuing to walk. And like, if I'm adding the 30 minutes of the workouts, and the 10-minute release exercises.
But it's more of like a mindset change.
Yes,
that's happened,
right? It's
a change of your life. I'm not asking you not to do things or to do things, really. It's like how you're viewing movement, right?
Yes, it's a whole movement mindset. And then it's also like, okay, I don't have to go back. Like I stopped going to the gym from COVID, and now it's open, but like I don't need to go back. I don't, I don't want to. Maybe later I will, but right now I feel like, okay, I've got enough. I'm doing enough and I feel really good. So yeah, that's a different mindset too. Like it's a whole movement all day mindset.
Amazing, amazing. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming to chat to us today. Maybe we can just end off, if you have any kind of words just for people who are contemplating the Reshape method, who are thinking maybe, maybe this is something that they are missing. If you've got any kind of like final words of advice to give to people who are on the fence about the Reshape method.
Okay, so this program is so different. If you've tried other things, it's not like anything else. As far as I know, there isn't anything like this out there. So it's not like anything you've tried. So that's definitely one thing. You will get so many changes that you never expected, right? So if you're going in expecting one thing, you're going to get that plus 4 or 5 more huge bonuses. So it's definitely worth it. Tracy was always there with any questions, any advice, anything to help with. So anything that you're unsure of, she'll be very quick to help you and point it out and point you in the right direction. You're going to have the support from other people. And it's just so worth it because it will change your life for the better, and you'll just feel better, stronger. And a lot of aches and pains, they might just be totally gone after this.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. It's been wonderful having you in the program, and I'm so pleased that you're staying on with us as well. And thank you for coming to talk to us on your birthday.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me, and I hope it's helpful for other people who are thinking about doing the program.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you so
have an amazing walk.
I will. I'm ready to go.
Fantastic. And we'll speak soon. Bye.
Okay. Bye. Thank you. Take care.